I don't think this is something you're supposed to say out loud, mostly because the second you say it, you sound like a bad person. But sometimes when someone I genuinely love tells me something good that's happening in their life, I feel it. Not anger, not resentment, just this small internal flinch. I smile. I say, congrats. I mean it. And then later, usually much later, like when I'm brushing my teeth or lying in bed, it shows up properly. And I wish it wouldn't. It's not the kind of jealousy where you want their life. It's more like their news quietly rearranges the furniture in your head. Suddenly, you're thinking about decisions you hadn't questioned in years, timelines you were perfectly fine with until 5 minutes ago. You start doing that thing where you mentally scroll through your life like, okay, so where exactly did I take a wrong turn? Which is dramatic, but also weirdly convincing at 11:47 p.m. What makes it uncomfortable is that it only really happens with people who are close, friends, sisters, people you grew up next to. Strangers don't bother me. But when someone who feels like a parallel version of you moves ahead, it hits differently because their life feels comparable. And comparison isn't loud, it doesn't scream, it just sits there, quietly ruining your mood. And then comes the guilt because you don't want to be this person. You don't want to secretly measure yourself against people you love. So you tell yourself to stop, to be grateful, to stay in your lane, which works until it very much does not. What I've noticed is that I'm rarely jealous of the actual thing, not the job, not the relationship, not the milestone. I'm reacting to how settled they seem, how certain, how their life looks like it makes sense from the outside. And then I look at mine and feel how unfinished it still feels. That's the part I don't love admitting. Sometimes it's not even dissatisfaction, it's just uncertainty. That quiet thought of, I thought I'd feel more sure by now. And when someone close seems sure, it highlights that gap, not in a cruel way, just uncomfortably. For a long time, I thought this feeling meant something was wrong with me, like it made me small, or bitter, or secretly awful. But honestly, it usually shows up when something inside me is shifting, when the life I'm living doesn't quite fit the way it used to. And instead of listening to that, it's easier to label the feeling as jealousy and shove it into the same drawer as thoughts I shouldn't have, which is a very full drawer, by the way. I don't have a neat ending for this. I don't think this is something you fix. I just know that pretending this feeling doesn't exist makes it heavier. Naming it, even quietly, makes it less sharp. You can love someone deeply. You can want good things for them and still feel unsettled when their life reminds you that yours is still in progress. That doesn't cancel the love. It just means you're human and maybe a little more honest than you were yesterday.